Can you talk about what you're excited about?
An area that I am extremely personally excited for is AI helping us accelerate scientific discovery. I believe that most of the real sustainable economic growth in the world, life getting better for all of us, that comes very largely from scientific progress and technological progress. And if AI can accelerate that, if it can help us invent new stuff, cure diseases, come up with better energy sources, whatever, that'll be a huge win.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike Sievert. Welcome to a special episode of Sidekicks Conversations. Recently, T-Mobile hosted its Capital Markets Day, something we only do once every few years, and data and AI were front and center in the plans that we announced. I had the chance to sit down on stage in San Francisco with Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, to talk about our exciting new partnership to launch an AI-enabled platform that we call IntentCX. Together, we're combining OpenAI's most innovative models with T-Mobile's famous playbook for serving customers to transform the customer experience. I wanted to share our conversation with our Sidekicks audience, so take a look. Maybe you could get this audience sort of settled by telling us what the new stuff is all about, because it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're extremely excited for this. We've been working on it for a long time. The GPT series of models was amazing at sort of system one type thinking, for lack of a more nuanced word. But we knew what we really wanted was systems that could reason. And there's so much value if you can have AI that can reason through more complex problems. You saw a glimpse of that with the GPT-4 models, but O1 really is the first system that can do pretty advanced reasoning. If you give it a difficult programming challenge or a difficult math problem, a difficult science thing you need help with, you can really get pretty extraordinary results. Over time, this will look as significant as the GPT series and unlock a huge set of new, very, very valuable use cases. And this is pretty different than the GPT models. We have these 5 levels of AI we talk about. The first was chatbots. The second, which we've just reached now, is reasoners. The third is agents. The fourth is sort of innovators, the ability to figure out new scientific information, and the fifth is full organizations. So this move from 1 to 2 took a while, but I think one of the most exciting things about 2 is that it enables level 3 relatively quickly after. And the agentic experiences that we expect this technology to eventually enable, I think will be quite impactful.
So when you and I first met, it became kind of obvious we had a shared belief in something, which is there's a lot of work to be done by industry to figure out how to use all this to unlock value. That real thinking has to be done inside companies as to how to apply these, thinking about the data estate, the business processes themselves, in order to show that these transformative technologies, maybe the most transformative in our lifetime, can actually translate to business value at scale. Why did you want to partner with T-Mobile to help unlock all that?
Yeah, one of the things I believe is when you sit down in a meeting where you're talking about potential major partnership, you can kind of feel in the first few minutes if you really want to do it or not. And I very much felt that sitting down with you. I thought the sort of shared belief in what this new technology can do for customers, for people, and kind of just having, better experiences, better lives. The spirit of T-Mobile as an innovative experimental company, excited to jump in with us and figure it out together. That was great. The specific use cases that we talked about really improving the sort of customer experience, and sort of what this can mean for totally reimagining how customer support works. It was in your office up in Washington, and I was just like, immediately I remember leaving and being like, we're going to do this. I'm really excited. Like, let's go. We'll just throw our best people at it. And
that's what we're doing, right? So you've got a dedicated team on this. We have a dedicated team on this. And we're working on ways to unlock the power of this by really examining the pools of data that are available to get the AI to be able to not just inform our agents like we've been doing with other partners, but to deeply understand in real time, what is the next best action for that customer?
Yeah.
Now, this phrase next best action's kind of like been around a while, but what we're attempting to do is really, really different from that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. One of the many things that we're most excited about for this new generation of models is what we can do for personalization for an individual user or customer, and also what we can do for integration, where these models will be able to look at a huge amount of data and use a huge amount of tools and access a huge amount of systems and deliver these hopefully fairly magical experiences.
You know, it's interesting. A more sort of traditional machine learning model or AI model will look at and try to pre-program with people what are like the finite number of intentions a customer might have, and then try to pattern match that to a finite number of treatments that might make sense. Versus what this is able to do is more human-like, right? Listen to the customer's actual intentions, which is why we call it Intent CX, and then choose a treatment based on massive pools of data that will optimize their success journey with T-Mobile. And so it's not about finite set of intentions, and it's not about a finite set of treatments, because it's examining in the background and eventually in real time massive pools of data. And the good news is it can be inspired by millions and millions of both success and failure cases from prior interactions generated by AIs or humans.
Yeah, I think this will be one of these things where no one ever wants to go back to the old way. No customer ever wants the old thing again. This is just going to be such a better experience.
You know, one of the questions I know people will have is, all right, so how's this going to work? I mean, you know, are customers giving their permission for us to do all this stuff? And how, you know, in that sense, what we're doing isn't much different than how we're already operating, which is to use your data at T-Mobile to make your T-Mobile experience better. But we're getting now OpenAI deeply involved. Can you talk about data safety? How is this data not going to escape T-Mobile and be used to train the wider models? And
so I think one thing that is not well understood by OpenAI is that we don't train our models on API customer data. So like that is your data, other customers' data, that's their data. We can do custom models for you with that data, or we can do, you know, you can do like in-context learning and not even train the model more on the data. But it's not, you know, this is not data that's like improving the base OpenAI models ever.
So this partnership represents kind of a pattern that OpenAI is, you know, now pursuing, which is doubling down in a few areas. You know, we're your benchmark partner when it comes to unlocking the value of all this in industry, but I know you're interested in other areas as well. And since we have a couple of spare minutes, can you talk about what you're excited about? I know you're doing amazing, more verticalized things, not just with us, but you're interested in healthcare, you're interested in a few other areas where these same technologies, with the right kind of process change that we're doing with Intent CX for industry, for companies like ours all over the world, you're doing in other sectors as well. Can you talk about what you're excited about?
Yeah, so first of all, this is one of our most important partnerships, but we hope it inspires a lot of other people to see like really what you can do for customers with AI. Like I think this will be just a tremendous new landmark step forward. Healthcare is an area, as you mentioned, where I would expect greatness. I think, you know, most of the world, unfortunately, does not get access to great healthcare, and what these models can do for that. I'm really excited to see someone go build the best imaginable AI medical advisor and make that broadly available. I think that'll be a big step forward. Education's another area where we're seeing great stuff happen already today. But if you imagine every student getting personalized tutoring best for them, along with the rest of their educational experience, I think that can be huge. An area that I am extremely personally excited for, that I think is still in the future, but we can now see glimpses of it, is AI helping us accelerate scientific discovery. I believe that most of the real sustainable economic growth in the world, life getting better for all of us, that comes very largely from scientific progress and technological progress. And if AI can accelerate that, if it can help us invent new stuff, cure diseases, come up with better energy sources, whatever, that'll be a huge win.
You're amazing. What you're doing is amazing. Just thank you for the inspiration, and thanks for this partnership that I think has a huge opportunity to unlock at scale how this technology can make customers' lives better and then translate into a better business model for all of us.
Thank you very much. We're really
excited.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.